Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum. In today's edition of Spooky Sunday Stories, I'm going to be reading a short on video. I intended to do like an update video, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to give a small update here, and then eventually I'll do the appropriate professional thing and post something online. My podcast version of my episodes, my podcast only episodes. Just to be candid, no, they didn't do very well. And it takes a lot of time to content create first and foremost, but it really takes a lot to do something as a video and then convert it and edit it down for audio to get it on a completely separate platform and make sure it's on multiple platforms available for people to read on, whatever their podcast platform of choices. It was a lot of extra work to make podcast only episodes as well, especially when I'm so much more comfortable doing video formatting, and I'm editing my own videos now. And I just think that part of being a content creator is seeing what works and what doesn't. And when something doesn't work, it tends to be not really worth the time and energy. But because I still love my content and I love what I do, I decided, well, I'm already doing more videos. I'll just do everything as a video. And then it's all, kind of streamlined as a YouTube channel, right? Which is the point. That's the growth. That's what I'm looking for. So, all of my typical podcast episodes, so like my movie review episodes that normally go up on Saturdays, those are going to be videos as well now, in case you haven't noticed, with the updates on those. If you have not noticed, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notified when it comes out. And then the other piece being the Spooky Sunday Stories, and then also my new series, which I'll also talk about probably at the end of this, called Skin Scare. A little mini series I'm doing where I do a skincare regimen, hopefully with some horror themed products very soon. And then I tell a real life scary story. So if you missed that one, I may re-upload it to YouTube. I haven't yet. It's still currently on the podcast, which I'm not going to take down. I'm just not going to continue to update. And that was an episode on the mutters from the Appalachian Mountains. So pretty crazy stuff there. If you want to go check that out, that's in the podcast. And so I'm just going to be doing everything on camera, which is super fun. So anyway, so here we go. So Spooky Sunday Stories. And once again, my change for this, I did this in a previous video, but I'll talk about this too really quick. I'm only going to do one a month. And the main reason for that is because if I fly through everything that is sent to me, I will run out of material, which is not good. And then the other reason is it gives me an opportunity to maybe do some other stuff on the weekends that I want to post as well. Eventually, some other series or things that I kind of have up here that I haven't. So in this edition of Spooky Sunday Stories, I still want to say Saturday sometimes, I'm going to be reading a piece of a short written by Cristina Mirzoi. I'm fairly confident I got that pronunciation correct. I apologize if I did not. I do try not to butcher names. I mean, my first real name is Angelina, and you'd be amazed how few people can pronounce that, even when there's a celebrity with the same name. Anyway, so we're going to be reading a piece from her short called "The Headsman." As always, I will link all of her information in the description for this episode below, as well as where you can find her and where you can find this story. So this is broken down into several parts. In her initial messaging back and forth about this, I think she had said that the first one would probably do best if I was going to just do one. So I'm just going to read the first one. This will be a fairly short one, but I think that's fine. It's a short story. So the first part in the Headsman that I'm going to be reading today is called The Witch. Lilac buds made their way into the morning light, their scent overwhelmed by that of fresh-cut grass. All was quiet, save the occasional hum of bees. The grounds lay in evenly cut order. However, once you strayed from the main path and climbed the small hill to the cemetery, the night geometric parcels vanished like ships in a great storm. Savage weeds took charge on all fronts, ivy covered most of the memorials, and thick thorns kept guard fearlessly. A skinny tabby was climbing an old, haggard tree. Melancholy made a nest there. The marble statue of his beloved peeked through the leaves. Her face looked peculiar, serene, and dignified, as though she were carrying on with a sacred duty. The visitor reached out with his hand to touch it, but hesitated. He looked down at his old, wrinkled hands and frowned, as if they were dirty with sin. He picked up the withered roses, displeased with their state. He'd wanted better, but the wretched florist charged so much. Beggars can't be choosers, she spat. In moments, she was wrapping brighter blooms for wealthier customers, dripping honeyed words upon them. Stupid hag. He could wipe out her crooked counterfeit smile in a blink. Perhaps he would, eventually. It had taken some time to arrive at this precise spot. He had made several stops, brooding and troubled, but flowers were for her alone. She was a comet. They were just passing clouds in a murky sky. Even their grave markers were pathetic, rotten wood that bore no names. He remembered their faces well, but it didn't matter. At least it didn't used to. Lately, doubt has started to nibble at his beliefs. He had loved her since childhood, but he had always known that she had not been destined for him, nor long for this world. Her beauty brought her attention from all kinds of men and spite from every woman. She was fierce and cunning, and her demeanor could rub people the wrong way. She never saw him. He had been lurking in her kitchens, stables, gardens, and courtyard for 19 years, serving gladly, but she never laid true eyes upon him. By the time he left the manor, she belonged to her duke. Years passed by, and he was doing well. Work was constant. While he did not enjoy it as such, he believed in its utility. People needed rules, and if the rules were broken, they ought to face the consequences. The days, the heads, and their faces passed by, but the same gratifying sense of justice, of duty, sustained him. One day they summoned him and told him that this head would be different, for it carried weight, generations of privilege, unattainable wealth, and renowned beauty. It would cause shock and uproar through every level of society, but it had to be done. The laws must be abided, those of men and those of God. The mistress had been involved in unholy practices while her husband, the Duke, was away on a hunt. Several servants witnessed her conversing in strange tongues with an unknown presence. They had found several figures made of wax. One of them had been broken with intent, and it had been inscribed with the Duke's initials. The Duke's father presented her to the authorities, declared her a witch, and demanded judgment be passed. The trial was brief, the sentence definitive. He always took great pride in his axe. Its sharpness shone in the sun's glory. His strikes were precise, the deaths were clean, and his conscience untroubled. He wiped the blade meticulously after each display. The night before, on All Hallows' Eve, he dreamed about her. He could touch her porcelain skin, wrap his thick fingers around her neck, feel her pulse quicken under his battered skin. He woke up and opened a window. It was a chilly night and quiet. All felt in the proper place. She had been like a bright jewel on display for such a long time that the gaze of others had worn her. What would his dirty hands do with such a precious stone? Had he been a duke, would she have had eyes only for him? That wouldn't have mattered, though. He would still have had to share her with the world, and such a life would not have made him content. He lay restlessly, torn by feelings of bitterness and regret until the first ray of dawn. It was a warm day, and a particular earthy scent lingered in the air. He drew a breath in, steadying himself, then exhaled a few seconds later. He felt almost giddy. Blood burst from the fresh cut and splashed all over his shirt and onto his face. People cheered. I really want to read the rest of it, but I'm going to leave it at that one for a teaser to hopefully get you guys invested enough to go check this one out. So that was The Headsman. The first part is called The Witch by Cristina Mirzoi. I love witch stuff. God. Thank you, Christina, so much for sending this to me and allowing me to read it on my channel. I really appreciate the opportunity to share other people's works. I know, it takes quite a bit of trust to do so. So I really appreciate that. If you're watching this / listening to this and you have a short or a chapter or 2 chapters of a novel that you'd like me to share and kind of help promote on my channel, let me know. I'm always taking taking emails. All of my information to contact me is in the description below for this episode. Yeah, so spooky Sunday stories are going to start being once a month. And I think that my skin scare video, I think I'm hoping that that will pick up some traction, because I think it's funny because we're talking about like content creating and like what works and what doesn't. But sometimes you have to just do stuff that you like to do, because this doesn't pay the bills. Maybe one day. But anyway, so that's all I have for this one. And that is our, The Headsman by Cristina Mirzoi. Once again, all of her information will be in the description below for this episode. Thank you guys so much for checking out this edition of Spooky Sunday Stories. As you're watching / listening to this, Mike and I are on our way back from Mothman and probably exhausted. I start a new job on Monday. Busy bees. Yeah, we'll have some great content up on Tuesday. That's going to be kind of a hodgepodge of our experiences while we're in Mothman, and Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So, yeah. The Found Footage Friday episode that you might have missed previously would have been Tom and I discussing the just came out August of this year, 2022 film, The Barbados Project. So I'm hopefully going to be working on a teaser trailer for a collaboration that is you'll be seeing more about hopefully in the near future. If you're not sure about the content that I offer, it's all on my website, but I have playlists for everything that I do. So I do things like Let's Plays. I do things like makeup effects. I haven't done one in a while. I need to do one. I was going to do one in September, but with starting a new job, I've been really busy. So, and then getting ready for Mothman and those things take a lot of time, at least for me, because I'm still very new to get them together. I've done TikToks and stuff of my crafts. I'll insert a picture of my jaws that I just made somewhere here. If you are interested in seeing horror craft videos, holler at me, because I love doing crafts and I love making stuff horror related. I'm getting ready to make several pairs of horror earrings, as well as shirts and cups. If you guys ever want to see content like that, let me know. I will straight up do those videos. And I have a Found Footage Friday series that I do with author Tom Reimer. I also have a remake series I just started doing with my friend Scott from the You Run podcast. And I do Monday Morning Musings with JR from Horror Fan TV. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff going on. So definitely subscribe to my channel. Like my videos, leave me comments. Let me know what you want to see. Even if tell me what you don't want to see. And let me know about the craft videos and stuff and what you think about that. So anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. Enjoy your week coming up, and we'll see you on Tuesday with our Mothman video. See you then.